Instagram just released a major change that is going to change everything. In fact, this might be the end of hashtags as we know it. If you haven't heard yet, Instagram has recently released topics, which basically is going to allow you to choose 3 topics that Instagram is then going to be pushing your content to individuals that interact with topics like that. And ultimately, this is going to lead to you on Instagram reaching new people that have never heard of you before, you getting new followers, you getting more views than you used to get in the past. But I will warn you, if you skip just one part of this video, I'm going to go over several mistakes that you could make when it comes to topics also. If you make those mistakes, then you're not going to be able to take advantage of this new change on Instagram, and basically you're going to miss out on getting a ton of new followers. In fact, I just helped this creator gain 10,000 new followers, this creator 20,000, and this creator over 30,000 in just a few weeks, and the same exact thing can happen to you if you simply implement all the tips that I share with you in this video. But before we dive into that, I need you to smash that subscribe button. If you want to go quicker on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, I literally upload a video about how to grow on these platforms every single day, so let's get into it. So, if you haven't seen yet, Instagram has released topics. So basically, now when you go to upload a reel, you're going to be able to choose a topic, and essentially, you want to choose 3 different topics, and they need to be as close to whatever you're posting about as possible. In addition to that, this kind of gives you some insight into how Instagram is classifying things. In the past, we would use hashtags, but hashtags were user-generated. They weren't generated by Instagram, so we didn't actually know how Instagram was lumping our content together. But now we do know. Instagram is lumping them into all these different topics, and basically, you want to go through these topics, see which ones are most relevant, and add as many of them as possible, which is going to be 3. But there are several mistakes that I see way too many creators doing with topics, so please make sure that you're not one of these people. 1, do not just skip topics altogether. 2, do not choose topics that are irrelevant to your content. If you choose topics that are irrelevant to your content, you're going to get less views, you're not going to get as much reach, and basically, you're going to hurt Instagram's ability to be pushing your content out. More on this in a little bit. The other mistake that I see way too many creators make is they only choose 1 or 2 topics. Again, you need to choose 3. They need to be relevant to what you're actually doing, and this is going to help you get more views, especially if you're a small creator. Now you're probably wondering, Rob, should I be using hashtags still, or are they totally irrelevant now that Instagram has topics? But before we dive into that, we need to talk about the actual topics of the content that you're creating. Way too many of you on Instagram are not creating content on topics that Instagram is pushing out. No, I'm not talking about the topics feature, I'm talking about the actual topic of the content that you're creating, and that's exactly why I created dailycontentideas.com. If you go to the link in the pinned comment below right now, for $1 you get started, you sign up. Essentially what it's going to do, every single day you are going to get sent posts that are working within your niche. These are the topics, these are the hooks, these are the sounds, these are the posts that are helping small creators in your niche get more views. And ultimately, if you just make videos on this topic, or use these hooks, or use these sounds, you're going to increase the amount of views that you're getting. You're going to increase the odds of you going viral, and ultimately, you're going to grow quicker on Instagram. Again, go to the link in the pinned comment below, get signed up for just $1 today. This is going to be the best money you've ever spent if you're trying to grow on social media. And remember, if you want to grow on social media, you need to be listening to everything that I say, and you need to be investing in yourself. If you want to get good at baseball, you invest in a trainer. You get a better bat. If you want to get good at creating movies, you get a better camera. If you want to be good on social media, you need to make sure that you're investing, especially in the research, into what is actually working within your niche. Because I look at so many different creators every single day, and 99% of you, your videos are good. Your editing is good, but the topic that you're actually creating content on, that's the reason you're not getting views. So again, go to the link in the pinned comment below. I don't know what you're waiting for. It's the best $1 you will ever spend. Okay, so now that Instagram is actually moving towards topics, we need to talk about a few things. How does Instagram know whether or not they should push out your piece of content? It's going to be 5 different things, and this kind of piggybacks off the points that we just made. First, it's going to be the 3 topics that you choose. Second, it's going to be the text that you have on the screen on Instagram. Third, it's going to be the sound that you use if you use a trending sound. Fourth, the hashtags that you use, which again, I'm going to tell you in just a second whether or not you even should be using hashtags and whether or not the hashtag strategy has changed. And then finally, number 5, the description on your content. So you need to make sure that you are adding keywords into all of these things. You need to make sure that all of these things are around whatever you're posting about, and you need to make sure that when you're uploading on Instagram, you need to be uploading consistently. You need to make sure that you're consistently uploading about the same niche, because basically you want Instagram to learn what kind of content you put out. You want them to know that you put out football content, or you put out how to grow on social media, or you put out fashion, or you put out POV, or you put out comedy, because you're gonna be able to train the Instagram algorithm to say, okay, this creator right here, they consistently put out good content. Let's push one of their new videos or let's push one of their old videos, and that's why a lot of people get delayed explosions. But the reason that so many creators on Instagram never even see a delayed explosion is because you're not being consistent. You're not posting in a niche consistently, and probably your bio says absolutely nothing about your niche, which is another huge mistake. You should have whatever niche you're going after, it should be in your bio so Instagram can very easily identify who they should be pushing your content to. The easier you make it for Instagram to identify who they should be pushing your content to, the more views you're gonna get, the more followers you're gonna get, the more people that are gonna share your stuff, and you're gonna wind up getting way more views, which brings me to another point I need to make in this video. Getting people to share your content on their story, or you sharing your content on your story, is going to help you get more views on Reels, because essentially whenever somebody views one of those Reels in the autoplay on the story, it counts as a view, and this will get you more views on Instagram, and it is a very underutilized hack that not too many of you are taking advantage of. Another thing you need to be doing, you need to do more co-posts. I would try to do a co-post every single day if you could. In fact, if you get a group of people in your niche, you guys all do co-posts together, you're gonna get way more views, you're gonna get way more followers. This is what the Sway House did on TikTok in the beginning. It's what the Hype House did, and guess what? It's what big Instagram channels are doing now too, and it's something that you need to make sure that you're doing. Okay, so now we're at the point of the video we have to talk about hashtags and whether or not you should still even bother using them. Yes, I would still continue to use hashtags with the following caveats. First and foremost, you're not using small to medium hashtags, you are only using large hashtags. I know, 6 years ago, 8 years ago on Instagram, if you used a small hashtag, you could rank for it, you could end up getting a ton of views. I wouldn't recommend doing that anymore. Now you wanna use the largest hashtags as possible, but they need to be specific to whatever you're posting about, and you need to make sure that you're constantly changing them out. In addition to that, there are 3 different hashtag strategies you need to make sure that you're doing, but before I dive into that, we need to make sure you understand how Instagram actually uses hashtags. Instagram uses hashtags to try to determine who they should be pushing your content to. There are people that follow hashtags, so when you do a post and somebody follows the Cavapoo hashtag, well then guess what? If you make your post with that hashtag, that content could potentially get pushed to those people. In addition to that, it'll get put on their Explore page, it'll get put on their Reels feed, and ultimately this is going to lead to more views. So you're probably wondering, Rob, I should just put as many hashtags as humanly possible, right? No. That is not what you should do, because you're gonna confuse Instagram's hashtag algorithm, and it's going to result in you getting less views than you would have gotten. Instead, you need to use these 3 hashtag strategies. The first, 3 to 4 hashtags. The second, 6 to 8 hashtags. And then finally, 9 to 10 hashtags. Those are the only 3 hashtag strategies you should use. You should make sure that you're constantly using a new hashtag strategy. You should also make sure that you're constantly using new hashtags. I strongly recommend that you have a list of 20 to 30 hashtags within your niche that you're gonna be creating content about, and that is how you're going to come up with what hashtags you should use at what moment and vice versa. In addition to that, I would strongly recommend if you're using 3 or 4 hashtags on a post, your post should have something to do with those hashtags. Strongly suggest that. So if you go under those hashtags and you look at the popular posts and your post looks nothing like that, well, you're probably not going to get a lot of views, because Instagram's going to look at the hashtags, they're going to look at the content, the keywords that you use, the topics that you chose, and then they're going to determine whether or not they should push out your content. In addition to that, your audience knows what they want to see. What your audience wants to see is what gets interacted with on Instagram. So if you're doing things that aren't like that, well then guess what? Your audience is not going to give you views, and Instagram's not going to give you views, because even if it does get exposure to them, they're going to swipe away, your watch time's going to tank, and that's going to be the reason that your content didn't get pushed on Instagram. Now, if you want to get guaranteed followers right now and increase the amount of views that you're getting during this golden era of growing on Instagram, you need to keep watching this video. All of that being said, if you want guaranteed growth on Instagram in 2022 or just in the next 30 days, you need to get into my mentorship program where I guarantee that I can help you grow on Instagram. In fact, I'm gonna tell you what to post, when to post, what hashtags to use to guarantee that you grow in the next 30 days. If you don't grow, I'm gonna give you your money back, 0 questions asked. Now, there are limited spots for this because there are so many people that wanna get into it, but I can only work with so many creators. So if you're interested, go to the link in the description. This is the same exact course that Tuvok12 took to gain over 100,000 followers on Instagram. Av Moves took to gain over 1 million followers on Instagram, the Joel Magician took to gain over 500,000 followers on Instagram, and so many other creators. I'm telling you guys, the organic reach on Instagram is not going to last forever. If you want to take advantage of this, you want brands to pay you for your posts, you want to know what you should be posting, what hashtags to use, what time you should be posting, and again, guaranteed growth on Instagram. Nobody has ever offered this before. Nobody's ever going to be able to offer this, but I can offer this to you right now if you get into this very limited program. So please, if you're interested, sign up at the link in the description. If not, I strongly suggest you check out the next 2 videos I'm going to put up on the screen, because they're the videos that YouTube thinks you should watch next. Thank you so much for watching.